Good afternoon, all. Robin Hood Army. Maybe you can raise your hand. How many of you know Robin Hood Army? One, two, three, four, maybe 10 to 20%, 30%. Thank you. Yeah, I just elaborate more like what is Robin Hood Army. I think hope all of you heard of Robin Hood. There is a Bollywood character. It's a very famous character where this character steals the money from rich people and give it to the poor people. So it's a similar naming convention that we have done is Robin Hood Army is also similar to that. But this Robin Hood is kind of zero funded organizations. We don't collect money. But what we do, we steal our free time. And this free time we just try to spend to collect surplus food from different restaurants and etc. and give it to the less fortunate people. So that's the difference between the Robin Hood character and Robin Hood Army, whatever we done. Why the name Army came into picture? So as you know, Indian Army actually, it's all, there is no religion. So all the religions people can opt for army, etc. So similar to that, Robin Hood Army also a non-religious organization. So we work towards, there's no religion specific. So we collect food either from Hindus, Muslims, it doesn't matter for us. And also we're kind of an apolitical. So when you wear this green shirt, obviously if you see this green shirt, so we don't think of, we just mingle with the people. So we collected the food from surplus food from restaurants and we go to a slum or orphanage or old age home, we mingle with them, we understand their concerns and we work very closely with them to understand their concerns and fulfill their needs. That's why this is called Robin Hood Army. The title says serving the hungry citizen. So hopefully I'm going move. Okay. A quick question. Have you wondered what is the cause of most deaths in the world? The AV covers most of this stuff. It's not the cancer or any other disease. What is that? Anybody? Any guesses? Hunger. Thank you, ma'am. See, hunger is the answer. Thank you. The next question, did you ever think what happens to the surplus food that is left over in marriages and other occasions? So we have seen so many marriages, vacations. What happens? We just throw it in the garbage. Thank you. It ends up in landfills, it goes waste. We just, ma'am, talked about waste segregation and waste pickers, etc. So it is ending up with landfills. So this Robin Hood Army is just a gap. Okay, it fulfills the gap. What it does is like, it distributes the surplus food, okay, collects it from the marriage, function halls and etc. We as volunteers, we go and pick it up with our own containers. We pick up the food and give it to the less fortunate people. In one way, we are saving the hunger. We are serving the hungry people. At the same time, we are safe. We are keeping the environment safe. So this I collected from this website. If you go to the robinhoodarmy.com website, you can see this information. So just to see the statistics, we have served so far 141 million meals. So we call it as a smiles. Okay, when you serve a particular person with stomach full of food, that we call it as a smile. So far it's established in 2014. In last 10 years, I would say we are completing in August 10 years. So we have served so far, I think last Friday, this 141 million meals we have served. Thank you. And we spread across 406 cities, across 13 countries. And overall registered volunteers are 2,51,000 across India. So we are almost, turned off 2,50,000 volunteers. Who are all we? Okay, maybe from morning you've heard of multiple speakers saying about, okay, there's the CEO of the organization or the founder and etc. etc. But this Robin Hood Army, all the volunteers, they're all just volunteers. Okay, their primary earning is completely different. There could be students, college students, and IT employees, business people, and so on. And even senior citizens we have, and we have kids studying 7th class, 8th class, also serving along with us with their parents, etc. So we're all just volunteers. Okay, and we do all these activities in our free time. So for example, I'm working for an IT company as a director, and in my free time I do all of these activities. So that's how we work. So the volunteers in this organization works with heart, I would say, very, very close to. Imagine like there is call, we get it from 1,000 people leftover food in from one of the function hall, very big function hall you think of. So we mobilize the people very quickly. in Hyderabad, you think of like we have 16 clusters. In each and every cluster, we have approximately 15 to 100 robins and volunteers, we call it as. So let us consider that in the Gachibowli, there is an area of 1,000 people food left over. Example, think of a 5,000 people food they prepared and 1,000 people left over. In the nearest clusters, people, all the robins mobilize. They go there with their own containers. We have our own containers. If you see our cars, we have the Robin Hood Army logo and we carry the containers all the time. We never know when they get the ad hoc call, a food call. So we just go, pick it up the food, and we know where to distribute. Just group of robins collect together, and this 1,000 people food we can distribute within 2 hours of time. That's the capability this Robin Hood Army has. So as I mentioned, we are spread across 13 countries: Pakistan, Zambia. You can think of even Bangladesh, including India. We are spread across 13 countries and 430 cities. So what's our vision? It's a global hunger problem. We are resolving it, okay, with the best of humanity. We talked about from morning, humanity is something that we have to bring it out. So what we do is like we keep this food as a medium to bring this humanity. As I mentioned, like whenever we get a call for the food, so we go and collect the food, and when we work with this particular slums or orphanages or old age homes, we work with them very closely, try to understand their problems and try to resolve. So as I mentioned, we are zero funded organization. Who are all the donors for us? So if you consider, one of our best donors are communities. So you talk about Aparna community in Hyderabad or My Home Jewels, any community you talk about, we are tied up with. So they are the real donors for us. The first activity we do, as somebody was mentioning in the morning, the majority of the students studying in the government schools are the real needy people. So we work with all the government schools in Hyderabad. We are proud to say that if you talk about any government primary school, UPS or high school, we would have visited and understand their concerns and would have resolved it with our donors as part of the community. So that's the velocity that we work with overall. So what we do, like with the donor support, we distribute breakfast. Nowadays, like the Telangana government has given the initial some schools, every mandal one school they got this breakfast, etc. But you think of that there are so many schools not even getting the breakfast. So we serve the breakfast as well as the milk in the government schools. So the donors are again community. From the community, they give the milk. So what we usually do, like we go and pick up the milk or breakfast from their location, from their community, and go to the school and distribute, and then come back and return the containers, whatever it is. That's the basic work that we do in our free time again. So we have seen this increase of 15%. So when we speak with these principals and etc., they were saying, yeah, by looking at these milk programs and the breakfast programs, we would have observed that 15% of the increase, and school assisted attendance is increased by 75%. That's a great achievement from the Robin Hood Army. And the students from the private schools also started joining. You know, like private schools are too expensive post pandemic situation. There are so many people, students especially, joining in the government school. And also especially we have observed that the 10th class students during this examination time, so they had to spend late evenings and etc. So Robin Hood Army helping them in terms of giving the snacks in the evening so that they won't go back to home hungry. So these are all the milk and breakfast programs that we do from the community initiatives perspective. So during the pandemic, as I mentioned already, food distribution initiatives, we collect the food, excess food and surplus food, and then we distribute it. And we distribute groceries. So as Robin Hood Army is very familiar and we have very good connect with the donors and the needy people, so we get calls from the specific location saying like, okay, a particular family is struggling and they were not able to manage their regular activities, or they are not able to earn anything. So in those cases, what we usually do, we go and distribute the groceries. So what we usually do is like we post this particular request in our donors group, in the community groups. And if anyone is really wanted to contribute for that, again, anything we collect is kind. Okay. So what usually these donors will do is like they procure groceries for 1 month, and our volunteers, wherever they are located, they go to that particular donor's house, pick up these particular groceries and give it to the needy, and ensure that this particular transaction overall, whatever we do, is posted to the donor. That's the basic activities as part of the grocery distribution RHA does. Sanitary kits distributions, grocery distributions we have done, even we help TV artists during the pandemic. COVID assistance. So we have our volunteers part of sanitization. So we have, especially you see that during the COVID time, we went to the slums and we did the sanitization. So you can see the pictures there. The sanitization we have done almost all, slums in Hyderabad. The next initiative is the rural initiatives. So as we understand that we have almost completed 10 years by this August, and in cities especially 35% of the population resides, and remaining 65% of the population is in rurals. So we understood the concerns from the rurals, so we just trying to work towards the rural development. So we're just trying to identify the needy people from the rurals and trying to help them in next 10 years. That's our goal for next 10 years. So rural upliftment, especially we work with tribals. I think most of one of the NGO I heard that they're working with the tribals people. So we also work with tribals. We give solar lights to these people, especially in the dot they stay within the forest, and also fogger machines. And during the pandemic, we have given the good quality seeds also through the donor support, where they can able to plant it, and then they were able to get this. And during the floods, the houses were drowned into the water, etc. During that time, we try to give from the corporate tie-ups, tarpaulin sheets, blankets, and etc. In tribals especially, we work with very interior tribals, okay, where they do not have even a particular road to go inside. Okay, our vehicles cannot go, four-wheelers cannot go, especially when the bicycles and two-wheelers can go inside. So we reach to the unreached places of those, and then we help them in terms of, even with last year, we constructed a particular bridge school in one of the tribals where the kids, especially below 8 years, 9 years, they come together and they have the midday meal. So we arrange it through the donors help groceries to them so that they can cook and give the food to this particular students there in the bridge school. So groceries distribution, I think you see here, we covered almost all the tribal hamlets in the east and west Godavari, and even Nagar Karnool towards Srisailam and even Badadri districts. So we helped even physically challenged people. And rural upliftment activities I already spoke about. We built the bridge school, and you can see the pictures there. One of the family in the particular tribal hamlet cook the food for the particular kids, and then they serve it there itself. These are the bridge schools that we have developed in Palvancham, Rachanagudem, Sakivagu, Mulakalpalli hamlets that we are currently working with. So through the donors and community donor support, we send the groceries to these particular people. In one of the family, they cook and serve to this particular midday meals to these people. Seed kits I talked about. Health checkups. So during the pandemic, with the doctor's help, we were able to do the health checkups in the rural areas and tribal hamlets. So this is the picture we have taken when we worked with Cyberabad Police Commissionerate. During the pandemic, all of you know that there is a plasma requirement is heavily needed. During that time, we worked with Cyberabad Police Commissionerate SCSC group, and these are all my army. If you see there, so the people spend almost morning to evening, okay, in the office calling the donors for the plasma requirements and etc. So this is the COVID force. I would proudly say during the pandemic, 65 of our volunteers dedicatedly 24/7 worked in these particular aids: medical, blood donation, plasma donation, oxygen support, hospital admissions. So I was leading this. Actually, I have seen morning 2 o'clock, I woke up and they see there is a group actively going on site trying to find out an admission in the hospital in the night, morning 2 o'clock. And the ambulance will go on, and then these people try to find out nearest hospital where this oxygen support is required. And they 24/7 they worked actually to ensure that the proper help is given to the citizens. Senior patrol, as you know, like during the pandemic, especially the parents, grandparents stay in Hyderabad, and kids, sons and daughters staying in US and etc. So we identified there is a requirement for these people, either from the vaccination point of view or the food or something. So that's why we started an initiative called Senior Patrol. So what we have done is, like, for example, if any elder people wanted to go for the vaccination, so we helped them in terms of booking the cab and ensuring that they reach to the hospital and get the vaccinated and they go back home safely. So these are the activities you can see. And some of the requests we got it for food. So due to different reasons, they were not able to cook food at home. They are not actually the needy people. As mentioned, like the elder people are not, they have the family. It doesn't mean that they don't have the family and they are rich as well. But still there is no support from the family. So we can see the pictures there that we order food, the donors will order the food and we pick it the food and then given to this particular senior people. This is the picture we have taken where one of the elderly people wanted to go for vaccination, and we booked the cab and ensured that they complete their vaccination in there. So this is the food wing we have. The second wing we have is the academy. So what we usually do is like these volunteers, people can actually opt for either food distribution or from the academy. So our volunteers, what they do is like they identify the slum where the students goes to the government schools, and we run the tuitions. Every Saturday weekend, as you know, the IT employees especially free on Saturdays and Sundays. So every Saturday, Sunday, we run the tuitions in the slums areas. You can see here, these are the online classes we have conducted during the COVID. Okay, 10th class and intermediate students, virtually we helped them in studies. And you can see here all the blue sheets. These are all on the road. Okay, if you find it blue houses or slums kind of thing, on the road we just keep this blue sheet and then we teach them tuitions. This happens on almost every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So totally we are running in Hyderabad 10 academies, especially 500 students we teach in our free time. And curriculum is designed. So as you know that government schools, the standard is little bit low. So our curriculum is in such a way that they learn the basic English, Telugu kind of, and then the next level system. Depending on the student's capacity, we divide these particular categories like whatever the government schools do, and we teach them in during our free time. 50%. So our other motive of academy is the admissions. As you know, there are so many kids not going to the school. So through the food medium, what we usually do is whenever we go to a particular slum, we ask them whether they are going to school or not. If they are not going to school, we identify why they are not going to school, is the required documentation required or not. Because we closely associate with almost all the government schools, we try to work with the HMs and then enroll them. This is one of the objective we have it as part of the academy. You can see almost 50 plus children placed in private and government schools that we have as part of the admissions. And we support them through the academic drives, giving the tuitions, especially during our free time. So there is a initiative that we have taken recently is called Project Swadesh. In last August 2023, I think I have in the next slide. Yes. Mission Swadesh. So August 15, last 2023, August 15, we have taken initiative to help the rural. So we have touched upon almost 1,424 villages and served almost 9.17 million meals in August 2023, last month itself. 1 month we were able to serve 9.17 million meals. So you are wondering how we have done this 9.17 millions. So this is something what we have done. We touched upon all over India, the nearest rural villages we have identified. And in each and every village, 5 to 10, 20 families we have identified, and we provided the groceries to them. So what we usually calculate the miles or million meals that we are calculating is if you serve 1 kg of rice to them, we calculate as 8 meals. As you know, like when you cook food, 1 kg food, 8 people can eat. That's how we calculate. In that way, we have served almost 9.17 million meals in last year, August 2000. Every August, we take usually one initiative. As part of the Mission Swadesh, we were able to achieve this. This is a summary of 10 years of RHA. So we started with 8 cities. Now we are with 400 plus cities almost in 10 years. And our goal of next 10 years is to expand this pan-India level, almost in each and every rural or non-rural, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 source. Any city or any village you talk about, our establishment is there of our Robin Hood Army. So that's how we are expanding in such a way that we help each and every needy people across world. That's the overall objective of 10 years of RHA. This is a very basic culture. So we always feel, so let's consider like I went ahead and then distributed food for 1,000 people. Then I always feel that I am 1% done. There are 99% remaining. That's the tagline we have it, 1% done. We always feel that we encourage ourselves to ensure that remaining 99% we have to work towards. That's the kind of motivation that we keep doing it for 1% done. Zero funds, anything we accept is in kind. Okay, if anyone wants to help us, it should be in kind. Either you give the groceries or you give any fresh food or surplus food, everything is in kind, we accept. Think less and do more. We never think of, for example, you think of in Rajasthan, there is a railway accident happened. There are around 40 robins nearest to the place just jumped. And then along with the CRF team, they worked and they mobilized this particular people to the hospitals, nearest hospital. That's the velocity we have it. So anything any problem that you see, either the floods, especially in the recent past, we had this Assam floods. During that time, our volunteers went ahead and then distributed the food in the flooded areas. We always think less and do more. Decentralize. So as I mentioned, there is no office at all for the Robin Hood Army. You're all volunteers. We're all employees. In our free time, we do these activities. Every city is decentralized in such a way that we work internally with the WhatsApp groups and manage all the food activities. We take end-to-end ownership, whatever we do. It's a one-team concept we follow. Apolitical, whatever the activities that we do, we don't think it from the political way. It's all whatever we do from the heart we do and then move on. We support all religions. Lead on the field. So whenever we enter it, we just ensure that the needy gets all the help, whatever is required. And towards this particular Robin Hood Army works towards the empathy. So this is how we can join RHA. So volunteer time, if any of you have free time, just like us, so you can join Robin Hood Army through the site robinhoodarmy.com. And technology wise, we improved. Now we are into chatbot. So you can just say hi to the WhatsApp number 8971966164, and you will be directed to the site, and it will keep on asking some questions. Where do you wanted to volunteer, or you wanted to do volunteering, or you wanted to become a donor, or you wanted to work as a volunteer in academy. Those options will come, and then you can register directly. That's all I have. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Special thanks to TALTalks for giving this platform.